we are after the long wait. We are going to be giving you a timeline for spring 2025. Everything you need to do right from today to the point you send in your applications and later is in this video. All you need to do is give me 5 to 10 minutes of your attention and I'll cover everything you need to know with my experience of more than 5 years and sending 5,000 plus students overseas to almost any part of the world that you can think of. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come back to ymgrad.com, right? We can go onto the articles page here, and in the articles search for timeline. Now there's a fall timeline and there's a spring timeline. We're going to go on to the spring timeline, and while there's everything detailed over here in this article, we're not going to go over it in this video. What I want to do is I want to open up this image in a new tab and I want to focus on this today with you. I want to do this one-on-one. Everything you need to know is really in this image itself. All right, so we move forward with the timeline and this starts from February. That's great because this video is being made in January, towards the end of January essentially, so that's great, right? The first thing over here that it says is that you start preparing for GRE and TOEFL, but take this with a grain of salt. Understand who you are, what your requirements are. Maybe you're going for an MBA. In that case, you should take, instead of the GRE, you should take GMAT, right? Maybe you're going for Canada. In that case, you should, instead of TOEFL, you should take IELTS, right? It depends from a case-by-case perspective, but whatever your tests are, you have to take them. Usually there will be 1 to 2 tests. If you're going to the US, there will be 2, right? If you're going overseas and you're pursuing MBA, there will still be 2. Otherwise, there will be 1 in most cases, right? You understand your tests first. You need to know the minimum requirements of the universities. You check them out. For any university, you'll find out your tests, all right? But mostly, you guys are going to be taking GRE and TOEFL, or GRE and IELTS, and whichever one of these combinations you do, you're going to be fine. No matter where you want to go in the world, this combination works generally very well, right? Moving forward, the other thing you need to understand is, what do you do from February itself? When do you finish it? So you start preparing for the GRE and TOEFL in February, but you take your tests max to max, right over here you can see, max to max by May to June. Okay, we're going to focus on this element by element. I don't want you to get stuck in the hodgepodge, right? You start the test preparation and by, you can say, May or June, your test should be finished off. Okay, that's the instruction here. Now, that does not mean that you cannot take your tests earlier. You can finish them off in March. You can finish them off in April. But finishing off, of course, means that you get good scores that you can actually showcase to universities. All right, so finish them off in that way. By the way, did you know that if you sign up on ymgrad.com/offer, if you complete this page, you will get a lot of free study material for, you name it, GRE, TOEFL, Duolingo, IELTS, GMAT, all kinds of tests. And you'll also get samples of SOPs and LRs. So make sure you do that. You should be signed up on our website. You will get these samples right to your email delivered, okay? Paid study material, which is at a discount, can also be found on this material link, where you will get up to 70% off on some of the most popular study material. All right, but free study material should be good enough to start with. Okay, moving forward, that's your test, right? The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you are continually improving your profile throughout. So that the definition of improvement of your profile is different from person to person. Now, if you're working with us, and you can work with us from right now itself, what we like to do is, and this can be done by you as well, that's why I'm telling you that. Don't think this is an advertisement. You want to work with us, great. Otherwise, this is for you. Understand this. Listen, you go ahead, take a look at some of your seniors, right? On our platform also, it's free. You can check out their profiles. You can even chat with them if you want, right? Take a look at their resumes. Take a look at what they had on their resume that you do not have on yours. And these should be people who are getting to your dream universities, Look at their profiles. If on our platform itself, you can do that kind of research. You can basically look at people's profiles. You can understand, okay, if my goal is to get into USC, then okay, what kind of people were getting admits from USC in the past? You take a look at their profiles. You take a look at what kind of CGPA they had, what kind of resume they have. If you open up their profile right here, you can open up the resume as well if you want for many of these people, right? So you do all of that research by yourself. Now, when you have actually done it, you would know what's missing on your resume. And what that means is now you have the power to actually acquire all of those things that were missing on your profile before, right? That's what we do for you as well. We tell you, hey, you focus on your tests, we focus on your applications, we do the research for you, we see what's missing, we let you know so that you can work on it. Now, normally for engineers, if you're an engineer or if you're going in the field of MIS, MEM, even MBA many times, what matters a lot is research work, so you can focus on adding that. And you can even find people for adding that on our website again. So we've basically built everything. You can go on discussions, say I want to publish a research paper in this field, who's interested in joining me, and then people will reply over here like that, right? Now this is free. You can do that all by yourself. If you want to basically publish it through us, then you can create a research group over here. This is chargeable. This is not free, but you will find people directly, and this will actually happen in real time. We have like a whole portal and everything where you can see progress and all. Everything is there. All right. Now, that was just an example. Research papers is just one part of it. Could be patents, could be, gaining some experience, could be anything dependent on who you are, right? For MBAs, for instance, 3 to 5 years of experience is almost mandatory. Now, moving forward, you understand this continual profile guidance part, I suppose, right? You understand this preparing for the test part. That part we're clear about. Next, we move on. And what we really want to do is, look, if you're working by yourself, especially, you want to do this early. You want to start preparing your SOPs and recommendation letters. Many times your recommenders also will ask you to prepare their recommendations in advance, and you have to deliver it to them. And then they will sign off on it and scan it. Trust me, 90% of the recommenders are like that. 10% want to write it themselves, but 90% they don't, because they have their own life as well, right? So what you do is you start in advance, because you're doing it for the first time. If you're doing it with us, we can do it in couple of weeks, a couple of days, but when you're doing it the first time, it takes a lot of research. So that's why I put it here, March to April, you should already start working on these. I'm not saying get the finalized version, but already start working on it so that, by the time you reach the admission stages, you have these documents with you. And these application submission stages start somewhere around May, June, right? So as long as you can get documents ready by then, you're fine, you're good to go. But you should be ending up with something that you, my friend, are happy with. Right? Next, let's move forward. Of course, if you're working with us, Ivy League grads will be writing your drafts who have already made it to the topmost universities worldwide. Mostly in the US, they will be the ones writing your draft. Anyway, let's move forward. So the next part over here is, okay, you're done with your profile improvement. You're done with your GRE, GMAT, IELTS, SAT, Duolingo, whatever. You're done with your SOPs and LORs and everything's ready, right? By the way, you need to garner transcripts. That's not something that I've mentioned, but I think that's quite obvious, because when you read the university requirements, you will find it there. You need to have transcripts. That's all. After that comes the application submission stage. Very important. I don't want you to rush this. If you're doing it for the first time by yourself, I don't want you to rush this. Period. I want you to focus on each and every part of the application and treat it as if it's like your baby. You do not want to mess this up. You do not want a spelling mistake anywhere. If they ask you to record a video, generally what we do is we give you a script word by word. If, let's say, you have an interview tomorrow, right, we'll train you for the interview. We'll be doing all of that. But if you're doing it alone by yourself, you have to do all that research by yourself. It takes time. All right. So you make sure you fill up everything properly. You should, by default, know essentially what kind of scholarships you are eligible for, so you can also apply to them. Sometimes there are additional essays required, and all of this takes time. Every single application will take probably a week, if not more, right? And that's okay. That's why I'm giving you this timeline here, all right? Hopefully by June, essentially, everything's ready. You have all the things that I talked about, and you start submitting applications, right? June, July, August, you send in your applications. Still a good time for spring, all right? You send in your applications, and after that, I don't want you to delay it after September, October. I mean, you can potentially do it. It's possible to apply even in November, but really it's going to cause issues for your visa, all right? By October, I want you to have everything done, because that's really when you start receiving the admits from the universities. So you will start receiving admissions. If you applied earlier, by the way, around June, you'll start receiving them from September itself. So you receive admissions letter from the universities. Oh, and by the way, I skipped a little bit of an important part over here. You don't just take the test, you also shortlist universities. And shortlisting is an important part. Do not compromise on it. It's very important that you do it the right way. If you do it the wrong way, it's going to be a problem. So apply to the right universities where people like you have gotten scholarships before. You can use the decision space to understand all of that. It's insanely helpful. Now, getting back to the schedule, once you receive the admits around September, October, November, it's time to apply for the visa. Now, if you're doing it for the US, for instance, in that case, you will want to get the I-20. You will want to start applying for the visa. And trust me, spring has the maximum deferrals. People don't get to go in spring if they don't start early. So start early. This is important. All right. You have to figure out housing. You have to figure out your visa. It's a lot of work. All right. So make sure that November to December, essentially, you should be focused on that so that in January you can fly out easily. All right. And that's, my friend, your entire plan for the spring 2025 term. I hope that this helps. If you need any help, we're always there. We have done this for more than 5,000 candidates. You can take a look at the services page. You can reach out to me on WhatsApp using this exact button right here. You can take a look at the complete application help where we'll take care of your entire process, really A to Z everything. We'll have counseling sessions unlimited in that, and there's a lot more that we do. But again, I don't want to make this video long. If you'd like to understand how I can help you, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp. In all of the cases, thank you so much for watching this. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because there's a lot more content like this that is coming your way. And you can follow me on Instagram for a lot different content where there's opportunities posted that you can apply to, scholarships and many other job opportunities that you can take up if, again, you're following me there. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.